Welcome to the Geeks, 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Lil.
And this is Steve.
And tonight we're reviewing Fear Inc. from 2016. I believe this is on Peacock if you're looking for it. This is about a horror junkie and his friends that sign up with a company that brings their customers' greatest fears to life. This actually stars a few people. Lucas Neff, if you've ever seen Raising Hope, I love that show. I think that's a really good, funny, like under the radar show. I don't know if Steve, if you've ever seen Raising Hope.
Yes, and that's your main character here.
That is your main character here, and then also, what's his face? Why am I drawing a blank on his name again? Christopher Rodriguez Marquette, who's been in a lot of things that actually recently we've seen in regards to Fanboys and Freddy vs. Jason and some other things. So the girls in the movie I don't know, and then also there's what's his face from The Sandlot, Patrick Renna,
the great Hambino.
Yeah, and then Richard, I think it's Rachel. He's the neighbor. He's a character actor that's been in a lot of things. So
he's the guy that wanted to make the jump to conclusions, Matt, in Office Space, if you'll remember.
that is very yeah. So Fear Inc. I watched this one on a whim. I just saw it. I was like sifting through Peacock's horror, and I'm just like, I saw Lucas. Now I love what a lot of these, because not every streaming service does this, that they show like the trailer.
I don't like it when they do that.
I do, because it's like then I'll see it and be like, oh, I don't want to watch this, and I just move on.
Well, sometimes the trailers give away too much. One and two, I don't like. I don't like. Well, sometimes that's a good thing.
And they lie, yeah. Well, of course, yeah. But I saw the Lucas Neff and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, this is interesting. And then like he was wearing like a Freddy costume, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. This is my thought would be, if nothing, maybe it was kind of more on a horror comedy piece, but it kind of wasn't. Kind of played pretty straight with it. So I'm gonna give it a sidekick because I did enjoy some of it. And there were twists in here, and I kind of like that. It kind of like that you thought it was one thing, then it became another thing, and then you thought it was another thing, and I kind of enjoyed that. I don't think it was the greatest horror movie, but it was interesting because, not to say that I would ever do this, but we've talked about it before, where it's like, and now we have Sean joining us for just a story time. But we've talked about it, right? Going to like a camp out like horror thing, and like living a horror adventure kind of thing, and like this had an interesting premise, so I give it a sidekick.
So I was at a hero up until like the very end, and then it dropped down to a high sidekick. I really liked this movie. Like,
I'm glad. Okay,
I really liked it. I liked the twists. I liked it kept going. And I was like, I thought like I was in the movie, and then I wasn't. And then I liked how back and forth. But then the end, it was just too much. It was too much. It went too far. I was like, I don't need it. Like in my mind, if I just erase the last like
5
2
minutes,
minutes, not even 5, 2 minutes, then it's a hero. But that ending, I was just like, this is done.
Like, I think that's where I went. I was going high sidekick. The only reason I was going high sidekick for most of it until that end was,
I loved it.
Because when we got to the end, it was just the body count, right? Like it wasn't there for me, and I was like, man.
But that
some of it was
point.
off screen. I know, but some of it was off screen, and I was just like, but then I get it. But then, like you said, then it just like that end, and I'm like,
if it ended right there, I mean, you could do that. You could continue this as a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, I guess you couldn't if you knew the very end. You knew how it was going to end, but I don't know, like. The way that ending just killed me. So we got to spoil it.
Spoilers.
The opening was decent. The girl running through the parking garage, and she gets killed in her car, or you kind of see the car shaking. She's screaming. But it's like a normal opening that you would get and everything. This guy, though, your friend from Raising Hope, sucks as a person. He is a
he's
drain
a dick. I know.
on this British lady, this poor, beautiful girl that he's dating.
She's not poor. She's rich, and he
no,
is.
I'm not saying poor like poor.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying like
mental.
This girl, she's just funding his nothingness that he is, and like all he wants to do is spend her money, and like they have this really nice house and da 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 da. And his friends from like Missouri come and visit, and that's where we get fanboys and Freddy versus Jason and his wife, and they're just drinking, doing drugs, blah 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 blah. And there's this company called Fear Inc. that like you hire and they'll scare the shit out of you. They'll like do crazy shit, and that's what starts this whole thing because you don't know. Like then these killers attack the house and people are getting snatched up and killed. Like the neighbor, they find his friend's wife in the fucking yard with a big stick through her eye, like, and you're like, holy shit, is this like? We're in the movie, like, so is this like just a bunch of killers that are doing this, or is this part of the thing? And then they like knock him out. He wakes up in a fucking in the basement, like with his friend, like totally like strapped to a chair with a mask in. Yeah,
and that's what what I really enjoyed was like we got all the movies, especially the movies that we really like. You know,
then the video comes on. It's like you have to, if you want to save your girlfriend, you got to cut your friend's arm off, and he's like. He picks up the saw and he's like, "This is a real blade." He's like, "Look!" This whole time he thinks he's part of this little show thing, and he's like, "This is a real blade." He's like, "Oh my god, I think this is his real arm." And he's like, "I mean, it's part of the thing." And he cuts this guy's arm off, and the guy like passes out. He digs into his chest, like this poor guy dies right here. His friend's like, "Oh my god, I just killed my friend,"
and yet the key was under him. It was so weird. Like it was just.
But then he gets out of the room and like he finds his girlfriend, and then he like this killer guy comes up to kill him, and he fucking strangles this kid to death. And then his girlfriend wakes up, and she's like, "What did you do? You can't kill him. This is part of the thing." His friend comes in with all the fake guts all over him and his fake arm hanging off. Like, oh shit! Like, what happened? Why did you kill this guy? That starts this whole other crazy thing with cop chases and fucking people getting mowed down on the road. That's all part of the show too.
Which is crazy. It's crazy to think about, right? Like I like the cop scene too, because like the cop scene was like, you knew that he was part of the company, right?
Of course.
And like, but like when he gets hit by that car, like that's not a dummy or anything. Like they wiped him out. I was like, oh my god. And that's where I thought, because if you remember at the beginning, I'm gonna call him poor man's Miles Teller, because that's every time I look at him, it's right. Like I envision Miles Teller in this.
Don't disrespect this guy like that. He's not the poor man's nobody. He's his own man. He's a good little actor. I like him.
All right. I mean, he was good in Fanboys. We just watched that. So, but he like seeing and like him telling him that this company is crazy, that they have a reputation of actually hurting and harming people. Like that's when you think like, oh my god, like there's something really messed up going on, because like they literally just took this guy out, this cop guy out. And I like this whole chase, them digging up a grave in the in the forest in the middle of nowhere. All this kind of stuff was great. Then we get a shit ending.
Yeah, like after all this, like the company shows up, they put the bag over the main character's head, they kill his girlfriend in front of him, they leave him for dead in the middle of the desert. He fucking comes walking back, finds his 24-hour diner, goes inside, his girlfriend's sitting there. Oh, you made it. Like, oh my god, all of this shit was part of it. His friend and his wife shows up. The whole company shows back up. Everybody's having a blast. They're having a beer. They're making a toast. This was great. This is how this all turned out. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. If this ends right now, this is a fantastic little movie. This was fucking awesome. And they all because they all acted their asses off. All the friends and his girlfriend and all that really acted like they were in the middle of some shit. Like they did a good job. And then but then the company like locks the doors and they kill them. Like really kill them.
Yeah, they just shoot them in the head. They just shoot them all in the face. I don't even remember what line that movie's quoted from. Do you know, Steve?
I just know, but something like "You're the disease and we're the cure," and he kills.
I know. I've heard. I didn't look it up, but I know I've heard that that line, but it's not a horror line. That's for damn sure.
But then it just and then like it cuts to black and the phone starts ringing and I'm thinking, okay, like maybe the company put something in his drink or something and he passed out and he's gonna wake up and everybody's fine. And that was like their final scare. No,
yeah, it's shooting blanks or something.
It's ringing the receptionist at their place and he's like, "We got another one, boys." Credits, and I'm like, "Fuck that ending!" Like it was so good up until that last final twist. I was just like, "That's too much."
Yeah.
I agree. And I don't buy it.
And they played it out, right? Like he was talking a lot about the game, which is a great movie from the 90s. I had the feeling of there's this 80s movie, Steve. I don't think we've reviewed it. I loved it back in the mid 80s, April Fool's Day. So it had like those tropes, like all that kind of stuff, where it was like fake outs. It's not a real kill, but is there a real kill? But then like this ending kind of twist, I was like,
April Fool's Day got me when I was a kid, man.
Oh, okay.
When I was a kid, that movie, the ending, I was like, ooh.
That's a great movie poster with the hair that's a noose. That's a fantastic horror. Like I remember going to the video store and seeing that VHS cover. I'm like, oh man, gotta watch this one. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Like it could have been a fantastic movie, especially because like even though our main character was a dick and a piece of shit person,
he is changed fundamentally as a person at the end of this movie.
He is.
They just let him live, but like they kill him for no reason because you're rich people and I don't know, like it just seemed a little wishy-washy. Like, dude, you guys have the best business in the world. You guys, you could be huge if you do this. Like,
I'm not joking. Like,
I might want to do it.
That's what I was saying, Steve. We've talked about that, right? Oh, we want to go to. I love going to like Halloween Horror Nights and all this kind of stuff because it's like I want to be immersed. And I don't know if I would go this crazy.
Yeah,
but I kind of like this. Like this was over the top. Like,
I mean, they would never sanction this in in the real world. But I mean, something like this, semi close. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed like it was really cool. But that final ending again, where the company's just like, we're gonna actually kill you for real, was like, why? Like, why go through all this trouble then? If your end goal is to kill him for real, why don't you just show up and kill him for real in the beginning and not do any of this bullshit?
Yeah. Exactly. Like, why?
What's the point?
This? Why go through it unless they're just their own sadistic type of.
And did you see the great Hambino in the fucking cafe at the end? I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, like, he was there.
No, he was there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he was fake dead too because like he choked him out. He faked his death like probably right before he was going to be killed, and then she played along that he was still dead. So, but I don't know.
It was almost awesome.
I want it to be so good because I'm like I kind of like this whole thing, and it's like it could. And I'm not comparing it exactly to Scream, but it could have been like the mid 2000, like late or mid 2020 teens type of Scream movie, right? Where you not that you would have had continued spinoffs or anything, but you could have told this story in different ways. Like it was just that good that this company could have gone on and done different types of movies.
Yeah, taught different lessons at the end of the day. Like, if I could have like a Yo Joe moment at the end, like this, what did we learn today, class?
Yeah.
This person's not going to be a dirtbag anymore. This person's not going to be a deadbeat anymore. This person's going to pay their taxes on time. I don't know. Like,
you know what the fucking movie was? I knew it. He was quoting fucking Cobra at the end.
Weird for this movie.
Exactly. That didn't make sense. I knew. Like I'm hearing the quote. He's like, as you said, you're the disease, I'm the cure, and I'm like, that's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, why are you quoting that? And then just shooting them in the head.
Yeah.
Again, I guess I got to go back and watch Cobra because I don't remember the end of Cobra. So
stop it! Right when they're like hanging out at the bar, if they're all like just hanging out,
toasting
smiling,
each other, and that's it.
Just stop the movie right there, and you'll love it. Just stop the movie right there, you'll love it.
So, all right, well, that's it for tonight. This is Will,
and this is Steve.
I can't. I'm trying to create a fucking stream, and I can't. But go ahead. Sorry, Sean.
And until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy.